I finally beat that bitch Izumi. Oh my god, I fucking hate her.
Tomato.
I don't know exactly which part you're referring to, so it'll be interesting to hear about that.
Oh my god. Literally, like, I've spent most of my day hunting down this duck race thing. So like I've made very little progress in the actual like larger like campaign or quests that we've been on. It's mainly just been this fucking duck quest thing.
If it makes you feel better, any better, she's probably the hardest character to fight in the game.
Yeah,
sure.
I've never fought anyone harder than her since I played any of the Shenmue games. Like dude, I fought her, no kidding, maybe 20 to 25 times in a row.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. When I did it before, it was the same. Like I was like getting so frustrated.
Hell yeah, video games. What happened? I read the date wrong, and because it's we're the only country that does it month, day, year. Everyone else is day, month, year, or no?
Yeah, I think day, month, year.
We're day, month. Fuck it, whatever. But so I read March 3rd. I read March 7th as July 3rd, and I thought I just failed Shenmue 2.
Like, what were you doing for the past 5 months?
Yeah, I was just like, I didn't spend that much time in the arcade. What's going on? Mommy made my munch my M&Ms. Go ahead and start in 3, 2. Holy crap, what is up, Internet? It's time once again for the Megavision Sideshow to talk about some ducks, some leaves, some big or smalls, some money, there's all kinds of stuff going on in Kowloon, maybe. This is the Megavision Sideshow. I am the ultimate big or small, Scotty Moe. With me today is Duck Race Champion Chris.
I am here.
And Dancing Dragon Marcin.
Damn, that's pretty good. I don't think Chris actually won any duck racing, but I guess we can get to that in a second.
Oh, I did, buddy. Oh, I did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling there was an unexpected feast at the end of a turducken for everyone. But yeah, so this is the Megavision Sideshow where we discuss a game that we're playing through for patrons only. So just thank you so much for supporting us again, everyone listening to this. For this journey, we're playing through Shenmue 2 in prep for Shenmue 3. We're going to go ahead and get into it. Our goal last time was to find Yuanda Zhu.
Wanda Sykes.
Wanda Zoo's.
Wanda Sykes. Oh, man, I hate Wanda Sykes.
This game just got infinitely more interesting.
She's going to be walking around Kowloon. No, I told blah, 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 acting, over-exaggerating. This is my role in every movie. Man, she's like the less popular Jim Carrey or something. But yeah, so our goal was to meet up with Ren, make a cool 500, and get down to Yuanda Zhu and Kowloon. Things went a little unexpected. I think all of us ran into some bumps. So Chris beforehand was telling us about his excitement. He was very excited. Marcin mentioned a couple episodes ago about the duck races and how you have to do certain things in a certain amount of time. I was very confused last time we left off. I thought that I had already played through to the month of July in the game. I forgot how to read dates, how they're written in any country other than the United States of America. In the U.S., it's written by month, day, year. In this game, it is day, month, year. So whereas I thought it was July 3rd, it's actually March 7th. So welcome to my brain. That in mind, I was like, well, can't do this thing to cue a birthday to do a chicken to give a prize for a duck race. So Chris, tell us how you determined you were gonna race these ducks.
So I started off this this last couple of weeks in this playthrough, I was basically at the point where you're waiting outside of Warehouse 8 for Ren to show up, or the Heavens to show up, right? And so I had some spare time, and I think in my playthrough is like March 1st or 2nd. And then I realized, I was like, man, I have some free time. Let's figure out like some stuff to do. And then I remembered like, hey, you guys were talking about the duck race. So I started doing some Googling around, and I realized that in order to unlock the duck race, there's a whole like list of things that you have to do before you can even get to that point. Probably the most important thing to do, or before you can unlock the duck race, is celebrate Feng Mei's birthday, and her birthday is March 3rd. Fortunately for me, unfortunately for you, Scotty.
Yeah, by mere days.
Yeah, I think my playthrough started on March 1st or 2nd. And so one of the first things that I realized that I had to go do was meet Eileen in Pigeon Park. And I didn't even, this was the first time I've ever come across her character before. Like playing through the game multiple times, I've never like crossed paths with her. I think probably because I just never, I was always kind of like focused on just meeting like the next point in the main story arc, never really exploring some of the periphery sub stories. But she's this she's interesting. Like you meet her in Pigeon Park, and she's practicing martial arts, and at first like she wants to spar with you there, and Ryu, you know, he's always being super awkward and weird. So
the blonde girl in the jumper,
yeah,
the Reeboks.
I thought she was a redhead, or am I thinking of somebody else?
Yeah, she's like a reddish
strawberry blonde.
Yeah,
in the middle.
There we go.
And so you have to meet her first, which is like one of the first things you have to do. But you also have to, in that same time frame, you have to go and talk to Feng Mei multiple times to be able to get become friends with her, to where throughout the early portion of the game she will call you by your last name. But you have to kind of increase like your relationship with her to the point where she calls you Rio. And once you do that, that's when you know like you guys are like really close friends. So after you meet Eileen, the next day you go and you visit Manmo Bistro, and Feng Mei and Eileen are there having lunch. When I went there, it was really weird because I saw that, so I went there, and there was this this cutscene that took place where these two like goons were beating up the kitchen staff, and Feng Mei came in and tried to stop it, and she was actually going to start fighting one of the guys. Ryu steps in, and I think there might have been a QTE involved, and he beats the guys up, and they leave. And there's this neat kind of interaction between him and Feng Mei, where she promises like she won't tell any of the martial arts masters like what he did, basically. And it was kind of like their secret. And then she leaves, and so I was like, okay, that's weird. Like she's supposed to be having lunch with Eileen, and so at that point, like her and I walk out of the restaurant, and she starts walking down the street, and I'm like, okay, so they're supposed to be inside. So I go back in, and she's back in the restaurant eating lunch with Eileen. It was, nice. It was like, so it was this really weird thing. So you have to, you know, that will set up a chain of events where after they eat lunch, you have to wait there basically until they're done, and then they will leave, and Eileen will walk to a vase a vase shop, and you have to follow her where she tells you that she's shopping for something for Feng Mei, and that you should also get her a gift as well. From there, you have to run to the Complete Clother on 3 Blade Street in the Lucky Charm Quarter, and you'll see Feng Mei looking at some stuff in the mirror of this shop. And then you go in and talk with her for a few minutes, and you'll go inside the shop, and and you say that you want to buy that like there's like a weird like feather type or leaf like necklace pendant that she was looking at, and he sells it. He kind of hems and haws for a minute, and he'll ultimately sells it to you for $150. And then you buy that. You have to wait till the following day on March 3rd until it's actually her birthday, and then you have to go into Ji-Wing's room where Feng Mei's like waiting there, and you can actually give her the gift. And so all that completes Feng Mei's birthday gift, and that is just the very first prerequisite into unlocking the duck races.
Yeah, eat your heart out, Zelda fans. This is no fetch quest. And
What'd you call it, Shu-Wing? Did you call it G-Wing, like a Star Wars car?
I thought it said
like A-Wing, X-Wing, G-Wing.
She-Wing? I don't know, man. I don't know how to pronounce all these people's names.
It's just like, come on, Eileen. I swear.
Right, yeah.
Like
Eileen like the only like regular name I can say in this game.
And the whole time you're just like,
like Yuanda Zhu, Xu Eileen.
Yeah,
why can't everyone be Eileen?
So there's a few other things you have to do. You have to go meet this Japanese student named Azumi Takano, who she works at the tomato convenience store in the Golden Quarter.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just want to interject real quick. I interacted with her. She's like one of the first characters in the game I spoke to, and I just completely.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I just completely forgot about her. And then when it described her to me in the guide when I was trying to do this duck race thing, I'm like, oh, sweet. I already talked to her. So this should be like halfway initiated. And then I went to her and it was just, and she said to me what she's going to say to you. And she's like, do you want to go hang out? Do you want to go do this? And Rio's like, no, I have to do something. I'm like, God damn it, Rio.
Yeah. So, you have like an initial conversation with her, and then you're gonna have to come back to her later on, because after you initially meet her, then you have to go back to the Green Market Quarter. There's a vacant lot that you have to find, and it's like a maze. There's no way you would randomly come across this.
It's like a little alley.
It's like you have to go through this like weird like outdoor shower like thing. It's super super skeezy. Like you would never want to go there. So you walk through this thing and you find this table in an empty like vacant lot, and there's this a bronze medal on there. You pick that up. Then you have to go back to the Golden Quarter, go to the Pine Game Arcade, and you go up to the top floor of the third floor of the arcade, where there's fucking street fights happening in the third floor of this arcade. And you don't even realize it, but you have to fight Eileen, first of all. So you have to fight her. And she wasn't that hard for me. Basically, what I ended up doing was just I spammed the Y button, like where Ryu kind of like dodges, and just kicked her like the whole time.
Tornado kicked her?
Yeah, I just kept kicking her ass. So I actually was able to beat her on my first try. Then next up, you have to fight Izumi, this like really sweet, like innocent looking Japanese girl who works at a convenience store. And oh my God, I swear to fucking God that she could kick Landy's ass. This chick is so hard. I'm not even kidding. I probably fought her 25 times in a row. And she does this weird fucking flippy kick thing that takes off like 4 or 5 of your little health orbs. And it's so hard. Then she does this like this weird QTE type thing where if you get too close to her, she'll initiate that, and you have to press X and B, then Y and A. And that it's such just a strange combinations that you've never really had to do before.
Yeah,
and it's
that's
really
a weird move for any thumb. Now that I think about it, where the buttons are.
It was, oh my God. And then even then, it doesn't necessarily like damage her. Like, you know how a lot of times if you successfully do a QTE, like Ryu will counter an attack and it'll hurt your opponent. No, it doesn't necessarily do that. Sometimes all it does is just parry something that she's doing. So you just escape maybe a throw or some other attack, and then you have to get back to fighting her. I'm not even kidding you guys. It was maybe 10 minutes before we started recording this did I finally actually beat her. And it was one of the most momentous moments of my gaming career because I've been playing this fucking game all day long. I told you guys earlier, I was playing it like 12 o'clock today. I got so frustrated. I'm like, fuck this game. I'm going to go outside and just work on the fucking lawn. Like, I'm just going to go start gardening because I don't know what to do with my life right now. I was so mad.
I remember being good at gardening once. I'm thinking, I'm going to go have a smoke. Honey, Chris, you don't smoke. I do now.
Oh my God. I was so mad. And so then I actually was able to, so I finally beat her. And I went back to, so after you finally beat her, then you have to go back to the convenience store where you talk to her again. And then that's when she's like, oh, like, let's go to this thing. And that's the duck racing. And the duck racing is one of the coolest things I've ever seen in Shenmue. It's so funny. Each of the ducks have like these like really cute little like bow ties around their neck.
Oh, yeah.
And like a little top
colors.
hat.
Oh.
And there's like one of 8 ducks that you can pick. And the guy like tells you all the different like some of the good and bad things about the ducks, whether they have good stamina, like if they're like aggressive or whatever.
I thought you were going to say he tells you their origin stories or something.
Oh my God, I would love that. And so I ended up picking duck number 1, and he ended up winning first time.
Nice.
Won the thing. So little did I know that sets off an entirely other chain of events. If you win in duck racing, then that unlocks the ability for Ryu to actually get his own duck to be able to race in the duck races.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
From there, so once you win, then you have to go back to Manmo Temple. You have to go back to the tree where you have to catch the leaves. You know, that's like your favorite part of the game, right,
No,
Scott?
fuck that. I'm burning that tree down as soon as
Okay. Check this shit out. You have to catch 2 leaves at the same time twice.
What? What does this have to do with ducks?
It just hear me out. So if you catch like 2 leaves at the same time 2 times in a row, then you hear a quack sound. When you hear the quack sound, then a white duck feather falls down from the tree, and you have to catch that.
No,
if you can catch that, then you unlock Ryu's duck. He'll find them in the tree. I've not been able to do that yet. I've been able to catch 3 leaves at one time, and that will do it right there. So like if you catch 3 leaves at a time or 2 leaves during like one playthrough of the mini game, then you'll hear the quack sound and the duck feather will come down. And I've not been able to catch the duck feather yet. So that's basically where I'm at in this fucking game. I spent way too much time of my life, like literally probably 6 to 7 hours on my Friday and Saturday night trying to unlock this fucking duck game and then getting my own duck. This is what I've done with my life.
It's worth it though. This actually reminds me of that. I don't know if you guys played Majora's Mask, but they have like in the ranch part, this dog racing thing, and then you have to pick, the dog to win first place. And what I wished in Shenmue was like if there was like a mask that you can just talk to, the ducks to see which one would actually win the race for you, because I wasn't good at that. But I
think there's some numbers on the table that you get to look at, like when you're selecting which duck you're going to race on, and I think the lower the number equals the higher the odds that the duck's going to win.
I can't even imagine what's going through Ryo's head, where he's like, I just fought, I back home, I fought 70 dudes at once. I fought this crazy monkey golem dude, and I can't get a goddamn duck. And then he just screams "father" at the clouds for no reason.
I'm not gonna stop on this. Like I'm way too past the point. Like I'm too invested in this. Like
you're balls deep in it. You can't quit.
I'm duck deep in this thing right now, and I've got to do it. So my last thing is like I've got to catch these leaves, then catch that duck feather, and I get my own duck. and I get to race them. I don't know even what happens after that. Like if I once you get your own duck. Did you ever unlock that portion, Marcin?
I don't recall. I mean, I know you're describing the sequence of events, and I remember doing all them, but I don't remember what happens after you do that. I think it's honestly maybe you just win money or something, but I don't know. You're gonna have to figure that out for us.
I hope that you can
Yeah,
take this
Godspeed.
duck like with you to Shenmue 3. And it would
I
be
doubt
amazing if
that.
you could name it too. Like I just like
There's no
I don't
like
even.
duck, spirit animal or whatever. You. I don't think there's
You're
an
the
ability
duck.
to do that. Yes, I don't think there's an
Uh,
ability to do that.
there's a couple
You
other
take him.
talking
Yeah,
points.
go ahead.
Like there's just a couple other points I want to mention really quickly before we move on and actually get into the actual quest portion of I guess the podcast.
The game that the rest of the world's playing besides
right,
you.
yeah. I've totally been doing this duck thing. So after I did get to the point where I met the heavens in warehouse number 8, and they told me that we basically have to like raise $500 to be able to meet Ren. So what I ended up doing is I went to a Lucky Hit stand to work that because I figured, hey, I don't have any money right now, so this is the next best thing I can do. I don't know what happened. I've never been this good at Lucky Hit before. I never lost the entire time. I played for about 6 hours, like in game.
Oh wow!
And I raised over $200 of my own, like a profit. I played like 8 to 10 times, and I won every single time. I don't know how.
I mean,
I believe it.
I always find like gambling and whatnot to be the easiest way to earn money. So that's my personal advice to you guys when you guys reach the section in Kowloon where you have to impress the scout to go to the
Chris is just
Yellowhead
gonna
Balloon.
fucking chuck a duck at his face, and he's going like, "This is this good enough for you?"
One other thing. So when I was trying to like better my relationship with Feng Mei, I had to go find her. I figured she was at Manmo Temple, so I went there, and as I was walking, you know that like creepy dude that like tried to get you to take over his job of washing the walls.
Oh yes,
Mhm.
yes.
So this creepy ass dude, I'm walking up to the back portion of Manmo Temple where the library is and the tree. I see him like being all skeezy, like on the side there, and he has a camera.
Skeezy.
And he's like taking pictures of Feng Mei like working over there.
Oh no!
And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? And he's like, oh no, blah blah blah.
I was
like,
just on my way to wipe off some. Yeah. Oh, this isn't the temple.
and it's so funny.
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC.
Yeah, I'm like, take a seat over there, you son of a bitch. And then it sets off this this hilarious cutscene where like he basically just gets cucked by Ryu like so hard. So like Ryu is like comes up and then Feng Mei sees him that he has a camera and she's like, hey dude, like take a picture of me and Ryu together. And he's like, what? Why do I got to get a photo with you? And she's like, no, just take a picture of me and Ryu.
Oh
And
boy.
so they take a picture together, and then she's like, wait, take one more. And he's like, oh, come on. So he's finally like they take one more together, and then he's like wanting to take a picture with Feng Mei, but he runs out of film. And he's like, oh. And so like you basically get a picture with you and Feng Mei together. And I just had to point that out because that was such a awkward, weird, like point in the game that I was like, what the fuck is happening here? I didn't remember that from some of my earlier playthroughs of the game.
I don't remember that. I mean, I didn't encounter that, and yeah, it's up there with the racist darts thrower. So whatever.
There is just so much like weird shit in this game. I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
He's quirky about that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure there'll be a shit ton of that in the third game, so
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that essentially wraps up like what I did in this playthrough. It was about 7 hours of that this past week.
God damn it! Just duck races and pedophilia. That's all Shenmue 2 is right now.
I also
the
found
theme
out
of
Feng
disc
Mei was like
2.
15 or 16 years old. For some reason I thought
What?
she was
She
much
looks
younger than that.
Yeah,
She's
she looks like she's
14.
9.
She's
Yeah.
14.
What?
Yeah, I thought she was much younger than that.
Still
Cool.
wrong.
Because Rio is what? How old is Rio? He just
He's
graduated high
18.
school.
He just turned 18. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that like I thought that age gap there was a lot bigger.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but Rio also looks like he's 34, so who knows?
Yeah. I thought he was like he was like in his 20s or something.
He's like, yeah, he's like every other American actor that sure is in high school, but really is 23, like an
Right.
episode of Smallville or something.
You know what? When I was younger, I thought that's what everyone in high school looked like Power Rangers, all of them. I'm like, oh, this is what a teenager looks like.
I can't
But
wait
they're
till I
all
get to high school.
mid 20s or early 30s.
Have full beards.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So holy moly. So you just now have to start earning the $500. So you did that with the lucky hit, you said then, right?
Which I also spent all my money on buying Feng Mei's gift, and then also you have to not to mention you also have to pay $20 just to fight Eileen and Izumi each
Oh,
time.
really?
So and you don't get any of that money back either. So if it's not like a bet, like I bet you $20 that I'll beat this chick. No, it's like you're gonna pay them $20 just to fight them, and if you lose, like tough luck. If you win, okay, good, you beat a girl. Like that's basically like what you get for that. So
it was the 80s, I guess.
Yeah,
that's cool. Man, yeah, I guess. Okay, so yeah, so speaking of fights, sort of, I started out at that, the broken down bus where Cool Z and his bros are hanging out and want you to make 500 cool ones, and I'm walking around the wharf and run into the Beast, which is this like Harry and the Hendersons looking dude. He doesn't fight back. You have to get like 5 hits on him or something, or you get 5 moves that you can do. And I did that. I took him down with 3 iron palm hits. It was a joke.
The iron palm is the best way to do at least early on against them. The iron palm is really effective.
Yeah, so I felt pretty good about my fighting abilities. So I actually, after this, I found Eileen in the park, and I was like, "Oh, cool, let's do this thing." And she just doesn't have any conversation with me. I'm like, "God damn it, I'm ready to fight."
Come on, Eileen. There's
exactly. Yeah, it's she means everything. But yeah. So after that, I walked around. I was like, I have to earn $500. And I thought, oh yeah, I was good at darts. I'll go play some darts. I walk into an arcade. There's a kid playing darts, and he's just wearing a shirt that says "criminal" on it. And I'm like,
I do not remember that.
Fuck. I gotta see if I can find a screenshot of it or something on my playthrough. But I destroyed him. He was no contest, and he just goes, "Oh shucks, I lost." But so I'm like, all right, I'm good at darts. I'll keep walking around, and then I couldn't find anyone else that wasn't playing, or that was playing that wasn't that dude that was into baseball. So I'm like, this kind of sucks now. I don't know what to do. I walked into one bar where a lady, Rio walks up, and he like doesn't know how to talk. He's just tongue-tied all of a sudden. And she says, I can't talk now. Someone really important is coming. He's someone I did a favor for a really long time ago. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Why are you confiding to me in this? Oh man,
they gotta come up with dialogue somehow.
I guess so. But earning money gave me the opportunity to actually explore a good bit. And I found down in one random alley was just a dog in a cage. Did you guys find him? Like he's just he's like in a it's more of a door that is a cage, and there's just a dog in there like wagging his tail, hanging out. It's out in a back alley where there's some dudes playing Lucky Hit as well, but I don't even know. It's just weird. But I did find that racist dude, and he goes, "Let's darts, man." And I won $10, then I won 30, then 100, the next wager was 100, and I was like, "Fuck, I can do this." And then suddenly he's throwing and hitting only bullseyes.
Oh shit!
And I lost $100, and I'm like, "Okay, when did I save last?" Oh, no time recently. Well, great. And so I'm like, whatever. I went to I ended up in Wong's boat because I wasted an entire day, and so our strategy guide that we're following, it says to play big or small in Warehouse 12, and I was like, all right, I guess I'll try this. I go in, no joke, I made over $500 in 2 turns.
That would
Holy
be,
shit.
yeah. I think big or small is probably the best way. Or oh god, there was another one that's similar.
Rolling on top, maybe, or
Maybe it's one of the ones where you roll dice.
yeah.
But yeah, those are really good ways to earn money, especially in the second half of the game where you need
Okay.
like over $2,000 for certain things. So
Okay. Oh, what? For what?
for for fighting people, certain
Oh,
entry
God.
fees.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, for those following along, maybe not playing the game, big or small, you are literally there's a placemat, and it's really weird because you walk into this warehouse and you just walk up some stairs and go around a corner, and there's just a room full of dudes like all talking to each other, and then there's a guy sitting at basically a card table, and it has a placemat on it that has 4 sections. It's big or small, which small is I think it's lower than 6, or no, lower than 10. Big is higher than 10, and you have 3 die in a cup, isn't it? 3, I think.
Mhm.
And you basically you can bet up to $100, no more than that, I think it was, and you can. Uh, it's either big or big, small, doubles, which goes to we'll call him the house, and there's another one that I can't remember, or not doubles, but all 3 the same. And so all you do is shake a cup, throw it down on the table, and whatever you get, if it's big, I'm sorry, you place a bet on what it's going to end up being, and I just kept doing it, and I totally scum saved as well. I would save right after I won, and then do it again. If I lost, I just reload that save. So going along with the strategy guide again, it said if you can just make well over $500 because you'll need it later on. So I didn't leave until I had over $1,000, which didn't take that long.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had 1,116, and I booked it before anyone broke my legs, is what I have in my notes here. So yeah, and eventually met Ren. He's hanging out in his do-rag. There's a little cutscene, which was super fast, and I definitely messed that up. I'm not a fan of the cutscenes that show all the buttons on the screen, the D-pad and the face buttons. You guys know which ones I'm referring to?
Yeah, the ones in sequence that you got to do in sequence.
Yeah, because I can't, like, it. I have to fail it once basically to see how many buttons it wants me to press, because you have to do it like right after it's done, otherwise you mess it up. I'm not a huge fan of those, but I don't know. I did all right. I did get my ass handed to me at first, and then you have to go find Ren and his goons in the pigeon park. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll tell you where Yuanda Zhu." Or no, what did he do? He stole something. Oh, he took my money, and Rio's like, "Give me my money back." And then they just split up. Marcin, I assume at this point you've gone after each one of them at some point, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So
I
it's
mean, it leads you basically to the same conclusion.
It does. Yeah, there's Cool Z, there's 2 other guys, I don't remember their names, and then or you can go straight after Ren. Do you remember what happens when you go after Cool Z with the boombox?
No, but
It's
pretty
great.
sure you just catch him and then yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's just totally a like it may as well be a Batman cutscene, because like he runs into an alley. He's the easiest to follow. He's the slowest, and he goes into an alley, and like you catch him, and he's like, "Oh, what?" And you tell him to like look somewhere else. He looks over his shoulder. Rio steals his boombox, and he like panics like a child that just had their blanket stolen. And he goes, Rio basically threatens to destroy the boombox if he doesn't tell you where Ren went. And he's like, no, please don't. But instead, he, what does he do? He kicks, he tosses the boombox in the air, kicks Kuzi's ass, and then catches the boombox. And he's just like, oh, I'll tell you, whatever. And then you go find Ren, and he says Yuanda Zhu is in Kowloon. So now it's time to say goodbye to everybody. This was cool, and I remember reading that it's a trophy to say goodbye to all the kung fu masters. Um, and at this point, I actually found a random doorway that led straight from White Dynasty to Green Market Square. So it actually completely skipped through South Charmaine. You can just completely bypass an entire area. Have you ever found that, Marcin, or like different alleys that get you through certain parts?
I mean, I've explored. I've tried to explore every inch, but like you told me things that I didn't even know
It's
that were
like a
there.
weird like alley that you go through, right, Scotty?
Yeah, and it's not.
Yeah, I found that too.
It's just a doorway. It doesn't even look like an alley from one side because it's just a doorway in the side of a building. And if you walk far enough in, then you're in an alley, and then it's a load screen, and you're in a next area. And I was like, was I supposed to do that? So I just thought that was really cool. And let's see, where was I? Let's see here. Blah 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 blah. I went to saying goodbyes. So I said goodbye to. I ran up to someone. I couldn't find for the life of me the idiot that makes you lift boxes, but I kept finding his boss. So I was like, oh, I'll make some extra money. And I was like, oh, why did I do this? I get to hear for 15 minutes.
I love it. I love it.
I hate it.
So fucking dumb.
Daylin, right? Daylin?
Doolin.
Doolin, yeah. And then I couldn't find him. He just wouldn't show up. Like I gave it a couple of hours and waited till at least dusk, and he just never was back out front again. Every other time he's like, how's it going? At one point when I saw him, he said, are you getting along with Joy? And Rio replies, no, I'm not. And that's the end of the conversation. Oh man. But yeah, so I said my goodbyes. I found Zhang in the mall, and I have a note here that he said, a daredevil you are. And that was it. Like that was just what he said to you. And that was cool. And then you go and talk to his master, Zoshan, who he tells you Kowloon is dangerous. And he's like, I should be the one thanking you for reuniting me with Don Juan and everything. And that was kind of cool. John Mon, I think, is my favorite character in this game so far, maybe next to Ren. He's the old dude that you learn the Iron Palm from near that tree.
Oh, yeah, he's a pimp.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. But his farewell line to you is pull yourself together and take care. So just get your act together, you idiot.
Like, quit being a pussy.
Yeah.
Get out there.
You're a little punk and you're pissing me off.
Did you get to go talk to that cranky old lady?
Yes, I ran into her at the Yanton Apartments. She told me just out of the blue, like the deepest line in the game. She goes, when a man sets his heart to do something, do it all the way, but don't die in vain.
Oh,
whoa,
damn.
Where's this coming from?
Like you now just have this existential crisis, like you're re-examining your whole life. You're like, what have I been doing?
Yeah, it's like I'm sorry, man. We were just hanging out and looking at Four Cups before. Where's this coming from?
I would have thought that she just would have forgotten who you were. You're like, who are you? Are you a land shark?
Fucking land sharks. I already told you. Blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I was a little mad. I did not know you had only one day to do this, so I did not get to say bye to Fang Mei.
Oh man, what about Troy?
So I couldn't find her anywhere. She's randomly placed. She's not one of the people that you actually have to say bye to. But
That's
so
weird.
Yeah, at least not one of the four supposedly. So because of that, because it like pushed me to go back to the apartments where Master Chow is, I missed that trophy and was forced to say bye to Master Chow. There's a flashback though where she was fighting, I guess, her brother or like sparring with her brother. What's that?
There's people that think that her brother is Landy.
Yes. And it kind of hints to that, but it doesn't really spell it out. It's weird because she also doesn't address him by a name. And then you have to fight her and learn the counter elbow assault, which is a contradictory name, but whatever. So because it's like parry, but also attack. Well, I guess that is a parry sort of, but whatever. So I learned that, but she's still worried that Dio is going to turn evil basically because he's just like in the first game, and I understand he was in a small town where everybody knew his name, but he's like so timid and just kind of talking about his dad dying, and everybody's like on that day, but everybody's nice. He's nice to them. In this game, he's just an asshole to everybody. He is, and he can't even be nice to a little girl who thinks looks like a cat, and he just doesn't understand anything. So she's basically saying like, dude, you're not ready. You've been running around. You can't even carry books in my fucking yard. Don't try to go fight the baddest dude in all of China.
I feel like this is basically a Star Wars like story.
A
And-
little bit.
Ryu is basically Luke Skywalker, like
And
trying to.
except his dad isn't like a big bad guy because he died.
His dad is basically
So-
like a D.
In what way?
He's and she is Yoda, and all the other people that you meet are essentially Yoda.
So who's Jar Jar?
The duck.
The duck. Kukusan has to be Jar Jar, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I missed the trophy
Or
because the game
Goro.
got me into saying bye. What's that? Sorry.
I think Goro should be Jar Jar. Yo, dude.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, he could be definitely. But I thought this was cool because I thought this is clearly, and it even tells you he writes down in his notebook, say goodbye to everybody. But it doesn't list everybody. This is kind of like, I'll admit that I'm running into more things that annoy me with this game that are partially out of your control. Because a lot of times in the first game there were timed events, or at least by timed I mean like it had to be around 6 p.m. but any day, or it had to be raining around 3 p.m. On a rainy day or something. But in this game, if you don't do something at a certain point, it's done, and there's no signifying that anywhere. So because of that, I didn't find the last person, and it didn't tell me anywhere that I had to do this within a day's time. So I was taking my time, and I was also trying to earn money and just do some other stuff because I knew I wasn't going to come back to this area. So I was like legitimately mad that I didn't get to say goodbye to one of the last masters or whatever. But it's whatever, because now you go to Kowloon, and good old Rio's just horrible at saying bye, so he barely says anything. Has no emotion. You take a bus to the big city of Kowloon, where everybody's scared of. Have you guys seen the remake of Judge Dredd?
No, I have
I've
not.
seen like the first 15 minutes of it.
Okay, but you know how it takes place in a building, right? Like there's
Yeah.
basically a town in a building. That's what Kowloon reminds me of a little bit, because once you start walking around, it's kind of cramped and it's definitely run down, and it just doesn't seem like anyone should actually be living here. It's kind of like they run by their own rules and laws and everything. Because you walk in there and you're immediately greeted with vendors. But you don't even really get to do anything because Cool Z's sitting there, and you're basically like, all right, you goddamn son of a bitch, take me to Ren. I'm tired of this bullshit. And he takes you to Ren, and is basically your next place to hang out. That's your bed now. Just, Rio's continuing to live the rock star life. And then this is where you were mentioning before, Marcin, how you're going to go to different buildings, and this is where it hit me just how massive this game is. Because you go into a building and you think like, oh, it's going to be a big empty room, and you like find a dude. No, you go into a building, there's a hallway, then there's a bunch of stores, and then you can go up the stairs. You can go to each floor of the building where there's rooms where people live in, which is, I walked into like 2 or 3 rooms. None of them had a bed. There was maybe a couch or a chair sometimes, but definitely at least a TV and just beer bottles. So I'm not sure what's going on. But it was really cool. And this is such a weird thing to remind me of, but there's this flea market near where I live that is an old gutted movie theater. And people just set up their own shops and their own stations throughout this like 40 or 30 screen movie theater. And you can buy, like, I definitely bought some VMU batteries that are just these like black market knockoff things that were $1.50 for like 10 of them. Like you can buy stuff like that here or there. And so this like dimly lit building that you walk into, it's kind of got shades of red and yellow here and there. But you have to then find Kuzi takes you to Ren, and Ren tells you Ren's interested in what you're doing now because he's like, I smell money. And I'll be honest, I don't understand how he can see making money out of some kid avenging his death that involved the Phoenix Mirror. I don't, unless he like plans on selling the Phoenix Mirror. I don't know. Marcin, can you clear up like where this leads to at all? Because I just was very confused by Ren's character, even though I kind of like him a lot.
So what were you confused about specifically?
Just how he's like, I'm gonna make some money. Like, what is Ren exactly? Is he a bounty hunter or something? I don't understand what he does.
I mean, he's a gangster. Like he is an actual like gang member, and he's got his gang, and he's doing everything for money. So I mean, I think there isn't much more beyond that, unless they plan to, hash out his character more. But it's really, like they were talking about, treasures and whatnot, and the Phoenix Mirror supposedly like creates a map,
right?
That shows you some ancient Chinese city, and so he's all about that now. Like that's his goal.
Okay.
But he develops some kind of affection towards Joy and Rio, and he becomes it's like Han Solo basically. I think that's a good way of comparing him.
Okay.
He's a Han Solo.
Okay.
So you're also jumping on board the Star Trek or Star Wars bandwagon.
What? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, welcome aboard.
Yes. But yeah, Darth Vader. And the other thing, you were talking about the rooms and whatnot. So Suzuki did like a post-mortem in 2014 at the Game Developers Conference, and he was talking about how he created like these massive buildings and cities with like the limited amount of memory and space you get during the Dreamcast era. It was like this thing he called the Magic Room, and basically it just kind of automatically populated these rooms with like things that they pre-rendered and created to fit in these rooms, and that's how he kind of like he made these rooms, and why you thought some things seemed kind of out of place, because I guess that's just how it was made. But
right.
It was like this interesting algorithm or technique that they used to create all these rooms. In the Shenmue dojo, they actually did like a full run of the Yellowhead building, where you can literally like open every single door, all like 15 or 20 floors or whatever it was.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be another one of those him knocking on the door and be like, "Huh, nobody's in" or something, But no, you can go into most of the rooms.
Yeah, you can. I mean, and for the most part, most of them don't have anything in them, but it's still pretty cool that you can explore the whole building.
Yeah, and I think that's like that's cool. I think that I think that's oh shit, who was it? I'm gonna say Kurosawa, but that's not him. There was a director who like for the sets and stuff, if it was like in a kitchen, even though no drawer was ever opened up, he would insist that like plates be put in here and like utensils be put in here. I feel so bad that I forget his name, but to create that atmosphere and make it actually feel full and like an actual life is being lived here. And so I didn't really like, that was when it hit me how big this game is, because I walked into a couple of different rooms and I'm like, man, I don't know if I'll ever interact with anyone in these rooms, but just the fact that you can go into each one, there are objects in here. And also the buildings connect. Some of them do. You can like go from building to building. It's really interesting. So you walk into the Great View building. I made Ren ring the bell. You're like waiting for this dude at a pharmacy or something, and he's like, "You need a password. Dragons don't sleep." I'm like, "Okay, sure." And so you have to find. Let's see here. I fought some Mongolian wrestlers. You have to last for 30 seconds without them touching you. I lost in 15 seconds, but whatever. I kind of blame the game because I couldn't figure out the perspective that I was dodging to in the ring, and it's hard to explain. Anyway, went into the building and found this place, and then you get you use the password with all these basically men in black, just dudes in suits, and you open up a door and find this 8-foot tall bald guy in a swivel chair who you think is Yuanda Zhu. He's not. He turns around and he's going to kick your ass. Suddenly Ren's in there and he's going to try to kick this dude's ass. What's his name? Don Yu. Danyu, yeah. And
I was half
so-
expecting when he swiveled around to like be holding a cat too, and he was.
he may
petting
as
her.
well should have, and just like then he taken a bite, like bit the cat's head off because the dude seriously to the ceiling.
It's massive.
Yeah. But you fail. I totally biffed this QTE, but it didn't even matter. Because he kicks your butt, knocks you both out, and then you're handcuffed. Ryo and Ren are handcuffed together. They escape. You do a couple of QTEs to run away from these dudes through some hallways where there's just random holes in the floors. So this building is very run down. Funny thing was they get to the rooftop and it's interesting because Ryo is like, let's just wait it out till morning. They're not going to look for us all night. And meanwhile, Ren's like, nah, let's do this, let's do that. And it's like, listen to the 18-year-old who wants to survive. But they get up to the roof and they're like looking at the sky, and Ren just randomly goes, "The Big Dipper," and there's no response to that. I'm just like, does that mean something? Do we need that later on? And that's
Not
when
at all.
they have like a heart to heart sort of, and Ren finds out he knows Lon D, and he basically tells Ryo like, you're getting in some deep shit, kid. And Ryo shows him the Phoenix mirror, and then they fall asleep somehow on a rooftop, handcuffed. And the next day was a pretty cool little. I'm digging these cutscenes now because I like Ren a lot, and it's a fun odd couple kind of thing going on between him and Ryo.
Yep.
So the next day you have to jump over to the next rooftop and get away from Danyu, the big boy. And then you make it over. I don't know what happens if you don't make it over, because I was very scared and somehow got it the first time.
You'd probably just retry, honestly, on a thing like that. They wouldn't be like, "Oh, you're dead."
Yeah, I
Guess we
wasn't
can't
sure
play
because
again.
they look down and there's trash bags and stuff. So I thought that was their goal at first, just to land on those. Nope, they're gonna clear a fucking alley. So they do that. And then little punk Wong, he's still there. He picks the lock and gets the handcuffs off you guys. Oh, you meet up with Joy after that, and she is pissed. She is pissed that I did not say goodbye to her. And I think, Chris, you asked if I said bye to Joy. Marcin, is it possible to say bye to Joy before you go to Kowloon?
I don't think so. I feel like that cutscene is created because you can't really find her. I thought maybe she's at the arcade or something like that, in her typical spots, but I don't know. I don't think I ever found her.
I was kind of wondering that too, because I actually found her bike in the middle of Kowloon before I even went to the first building. And it was just, Ryo just kind of says to himself, this means Joy's around. And like, this is her bike. And then I thought that would cue a cut scene or something, but no, he just walks away. So it's fucking Ryo. But so then you go back to Yang, the pharmacist, and since Ren is an awesome guy, he kicks the shit out of an elderly man. And then you decide, like, all right, we need to find Wang Zhu. And that is where I stopped, because I felt like it was I felt better about where I was stopping, because there were a lot of cutscenes, and I'm excited that Ren is like part of your posse now, it seems like, and based on the screenshots and stuff of Shenmue 3, Ren's definitely going to be like your bro in this and everything now. So I think it's cool that finally, whether he wants to or not, since Ryo is almost a silent protagonist, he may as well just be a mannequin in a fucking leather jacket. Like, has no say in who's joining him. So now you kind of have Joy on your team. You've kind of got Wong, the little boy who definitely either is obsessed with Ryo because he thinks he's so cool, or is the older brother that he always wanted but never had. But it's kind of cute. This game definitely has more character development. Like, I feel like the closest thing to this was Nazumi and Ryo. Like, there's so much sexual tension with Nazumi, but Ryo's just like, gotta find my dad. I probably don't even have a penis, so I don't understand when any woman talks to me.
It's one of the Unsullied.
I guess so. I don't even, man, just Ken Doll Ren, or Ken Doll Duro. So that's where I got to, though. So I'm excited to see if this goes further. I'm starting to wonder if Yuanda Zhu, am I saying that right at all?
It's Yuanda Zhu, and then in the first game, they called him Zhu Yuanda. I don't know why they switched, last name, first name. I don't know, but yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So I feel bad. I kind of talked most of this episode, but it's been interesting. And Chris, you've been quiet. What do you think about what's coming up for you and everything that's been going on?
I feel like I have a lot of catching up to do, and I feel like I need to
Hell
stop
yeah.
like messing around with ducks
Duck
and
racing,
get on with the real story. I got my work cut out for me to get caught up the next couple of weeks for sure.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, some of the stuff like Kowloon stuff moves pretty quick, so I'd say try to explore stuff as soon as you get there.
Okay.
Because as soon as you start, as soon as you find Ren, he immediately takes you to your next destination. I was like, I kind of want to walk around this city a little bit, but I'm afraid that I'll miss something now because of how this game's fucking me over here and there. But yeah, I don't know. And definitely, if you haven't left for Kowloon yet, so I would say make as much money as you can in big or small as well, or something else. So that you're leaving with a good chunk of change. But it's interesting. I feel like now I actually care about the plot, whereas before I was just talking to people and playing arcade games. And I really like Ren, and I really like the cutscenes that I've been seeing, because Ren is probably the most personality consistent personality that this game has seen, aside from Joy's a pretty one-dimensional character. She just likes Ryo, I think, but hates how absent-minded he is, so I don't know. But yeah, so from here on out, we're not going to have stopping points because fuck, we've never met them.
Right.
So we're just going to keep playing and just talk about what we've been doing, and I feel like that's how Shenmue needs to be anyway. I kept feeling like I wasn't getting the most out of this game because I was trying to hit a certain point before we recorded, so I think this is a better way to go anyway. But I'm excited for what's coming up. So Marcin, do you have any like tidbits or teasers you can give us for what's going on with these two? Like, is Ren stuck with you the whole time, or what?
Yeah, I mean, I would say you're basically, well, not until the end, at least up until you're done with Kowloon, because then you actually, after Kowloon, you still go to another place.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah. So,
wow.
So you go to, after that, you go to Guilin.
Go to LA.
You go to LA. No, you go to like this rural area in China, basically, and that's kind of where Shenmue 3 continues from. So your last place in Shenmue 2 is this mountainous forest area.
Okay, interesting.
And you meet a certain character you keep seeing in the Shenmue 3 promos. So yeah.
Oh yeah, the girl from Cowboy Bebop, right?
Yeah, and the girl that he sees in his dreams in the first game, I don't think he sees her in the second game yet, right? There were no dreams about her.
I would love for Ryu to leave China and come to LA and attend the very first E3.
Oh yeah, in the 80s.
Yeah, that would come full circle.
And that movie is called Jungle to Jungle 2. The only kind of, you were like, has you said, Marcin, has Ryo had any visions of her yet, the like gypsy girl or whatever? The only thing he's had is the Londi flashback when he found that thing that fell out of the book.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's been like Master Tao's flashback, and I think that was really it. So yeah, I guess you could kind of talk about Ren mentioning Londi, but yeah, so he hasn't really envisioned her yet. So it's interesting. It's interesting overall because this game is, even though it is as basic as hello, my name is Amiga Montoya, you killed my father, prepare to die. Like, it could be something up
That's
as that.
the gist of it.
But everything is happening in this game, in this world. It's not just Ryo's journey now, because you're learning about these different kung fu masters who also have a background maybe with Londi. I would argue that this game is more about Londi at this point than Ryo and his father. You've got Ren finally in now. There's finally a supporting cast. Like, your supporting cast in Shenmue 1 was your grandma that gave you an allowance, this girl that you don't understand has feelings for you, and some dude selling hot dogs. So
I was gonna say you forgot Tom, but
I can never forget Tom. I want his shirt so bad.
Someone probably made it on, like, I don't know, Etsy or something.
Yeah, I saw it on Redbubble or something at one point, and it's great because Tom's shirt has Tom on it, and it says Tom. So who doesn't want that? But yeah, so we'll just keep going through, playing at our own pace. And for those following at home, we are still, following a strategy guide. We'll keep that in the info, the description of the show. And definitely, let us know your thoughts, those listening, to how you guys are going through this, what you think of our experiences. Maybe give Chris some pro duck tips or something.
I need some.
Yeah, boy, it's been something. But so I'm excited to keep going. Kowloon is cool. I don't know. I guess I'm really dumbfounded, and it's probably coming across now just how massive this game is. And I really I'm learning more and more with each section that we play through why people love this so much. And I'm getting more excited for 3. So maybe eventually we'll do a sideshow of all of us playing through 3. Like, that might be pretty cool to get our
That would be fun.
first time reactions and stuff. But yeah, any final thoughts? Chris, do you have any final thoughts on where we've been playing, what's coming up, or anything?
No, it's just I've really enjoyed being able to take time to explore more of the game. Like, I've never done this before. I was always so focused on just getting to the next point in the story, and I feel like now I'm actually getting to explore a lot more of like what makes Shenmue so special. And like the duck race is a perfect example of that. And so I'm having a lot of fun. I'm taking my time with it. I'm lagging behind. I'm behind you, obviously. But it is fun to be able to experience some new content and new things that Shenmue has in store for me that I've just never been able to explore before.
Cool. Yeah, right on. Marcin, what do you think? Final thoughts?
I mean, I'm enjoying playing it again, but I'm also enjoying just hearing your guys' first experiences with the game and like listening to your own theories about it. So that's what I'm enjoying and getting out of this. But
Yeah.
yeah, like I just like also, just talking about it and, like you said, kind of filling in the blanks in between our discussions. So I'm definitely looking forward to the next one.
Cool. Yeah, I was very excited after dealing with a lot of crap with catching those leaves, to hear that Chris was dealing with so much shit, because I want to read. I forgot to do this earlier. I wanted to read the Discord here that we have.
Oh god.
Let's see here. Where'd it go? Okay, yeah. So 12:30 this morning or this afternoon. Chris says, on the final bit before I unlock the duck race, I have to beat these 2 chicks in a fight, and they're tough as shit, though. 20 minutes later, Chris says, all right, fuck that bitch. I can't beat her. God damn it. I'm going outside for a bit. Kind of pissed off. Because I legit thought that I just forgot how to play video games between dropping those stupid books and not catching leaves. So I was excited to hear that someone else also can't play video games.
I was so mad. Like, I almost bit my controller today, and I haven't done that since like back in the day, like Halo 2, playing that online. Like, I was enraged. I could not beat her, but the sense of accomplishment when I finally like defeated that bitch, it was so great. I loved it.
Yeah, good stuff. So that's going to just about do it for this episode. We're still going. Thanks again for everyone supporting the Patreon. And just follow us, spread the word of this podcast. It's technically $1 to listen to. So go tell people, I should maybe have another. And that's going to just about do it. But again, with me today has been the Duckmaster Chris.
That's me.
And maybe he's big or small, Marcin.
I'm the dancing dragon, and I guess you'll find out. Roll the dice.
Yeah, hell yeah. So we'll catch
Lucky
you guys
hit.
later. Further at all of us want to play a game of Lucky Hit. See ya.
Take it easy.